what we've got in this country is a British Prime Minister thinking he can wade in to American politics like he owns the place. It's his liberal way or the highway. And yes, I'm talking about Sir Keir Starmer, or Stalin you might want to call him these days, the very man whose Labour Party is meddling in US elections right in your backyard. We'll break it down like this. The Trump campaign has filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission, actually accusing Starmer's Labour Party of election interference. And what's the evidence to that? Well, there's a now deleted post that claimed 100 Labour Party staffers were sent to the United States to campaign for Kamala Harris, the Democrat nominee. Yeah. You heard that right. Foreign nationals traipsing through battleground states trying to sway the American election. Now, the cherry on top of all of that is the fact that Labour's operatives are even offering housing to these volunteers. Now, that is a potentially illegal contribution, one that got the hair on the back of the neck of Elon Musk, the tech titan, Tesla tech titan, and of course, the owner now of the free speech platform X. But it doesn't stop there. Because when you look at the Centre for Countering Digital Hate, founded by Labour's Morgan McSweeney, if you don't know him, he's the one that's just replaced Sue Gray in number 10 Downing Street. They're now advising Kamala's campaign. What's the agenda of this group, you might ask yourself? Well, it's quite literally to kill Elon Musk's Twitter. That's what it says in one of their documents, while strengthening ties with the Biden-Harris campaign. Now, these CCHD folks have been plotting, lobbying and meeting with Democratic officials, including Senator Amy Klobuchar, to enforce digital censorship through proposed legislation. So effectively what they're saying is they want to kill free speech online and use censorship as the tool to do it, disguised in the guise of misinformation, the watchwords of the moment. Whenever you hear that, you should have your own hairs on the back of your neck stand up, because that means they're coming for you. Now, it's blatant foreign meddling. It's disgraceful, I think. We're talking about that Labour Svengali McSweeney plotting from the shadows. The same way he helped Sir Keir Starmer rise to power in the United Kingdom, he's now trying to export that playbook in the United States to keep the Democrats in power. Now think of it. Labour's been running these dark money campaigns, censoring their rivals in Britain, and now they're doing the same here with Kamala Harris. It smacks of everything that they tried to warn you that your vote for Brexit was all about. Dodgy cash, dark tactics, and underhand playing. And I think that's what's going on here. It's not just Labour, though. We've got Hollywood back in this madness too. There's an agent to Mark Ruffalo and Selena Gomez allegedly funding these campaigns by the CCHD to push censorship. They don't like what's said about these celebrities. So what we've got is Britain's Labour Party and Hollywood teaming up to decide American elections and what you can and cannot say or can and cannot hear on the internet, which is the de facto public square in 2024. So this isn't just interference, it's an attack on freedom of expression, an attack on democracy, an attack on American sovereignty as well. That's why the Trump campaign are right to complain about it. The Labour Party and their cronies attempting to manipulate American elections, regulate American and British speech, and silence American and British opposition, all in the name of keeping their green agenda, their woke policies, their censorship clamouring, all alive. Starmer is trying to reshape the US political landscape for his own benefit, just as his team did here in our country. And it doesn't take a genius to see why they're so desperate to keep Kamala Harris in power. It's all about pushing that globalist agenda, censorship, control, and silencing your voice. Any voice of dissent must be silenced. The special relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States, it's been twisted into something dark and manipulative. And I think actually the Trump campaign better not let them actually get away with it. for the good of Britain and the United States of America. Well, that's my dispatch, folks. Thank you very much for bearing with us whilst we endured some tech gremlins there at the very start. We started ever so slightly later, so I'm hoping that Rafe Hadelman-Q will be ever so kind as to give us 2 minutes to dissect that story and that particular issue. Again, thank you so much to everyone who is rejoining. Smash that like button, folks, because it really does help, and actually maybe it'll help remind people that we are actually live because of those tech gremlins. I'm sure it's cock up more than conspiracy. But then again, the issues we're talking about, it does seem somewhat coincidental, does it not? Right, let's get this on, shall we? Well, who do we have here? Chloe Dobbs is there in the corner. We've got Eunice up there on top and Alex on top. First time for everything, Alex. And, and I think I think we ought to. What did you make of what I had to say, anyone? Just fire out some thoughts, whoever wants to go first on this. Because I think it is a pretty big story.
No, it's definitely a very big story because Keir Starmer is trying to, because the Labour government won here, so I feel like if Trump gets elected, it's going to be a very tough relationship between Keir
Oh,
Starmer
God, yeah.
and Donald Trump, and he wants everyone to be on the left, and this should be prosecuted because I don't think you're actually allowed to do such a thing, are you?
To actually campaign in the United States, no, it is
Yeah,
actually
like a
classed as
foreign
election
government, like trying
interference.
to help a foreign candidate. Is that allowed?
Yeah, because Elon Musk is actually saying as well that he'll go to war on this the Labour-linked campaign group set up by McSweeney, who is in number 10, took over from Sue Gray. I mean, Alex, this just all smacks of a coalition of the left, a transatlantic coalition, that is actually ganging up in order to censor our speech and our right to be a dissenting voice online.
Yeah, it's typical Keir Stalin tactics, and I think what's great about all of this is how exposed it is now. It's another dump of Twitter files, essentially, right? This is this kind of level of cabal, of collusion between two far left parties: the Democrat Party, who's become a corporatist far left, and the Labour Party, which has been sort of swinging far left for a very long time as well. So I don't think Trump's mischaracterized them whatsoever. But I think it's exposed someone like Morgan McSweeney, who was sort of seen as a new calming hand in the cabinet office after he'd got rid of Sue Gray. He's now at the top of the food chain, and it makes me very nervous. These sorts of people are basically running our government. They are advising our prime minister. Now, whether Keir Starlin knew anything about this, well, I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because he's the leader of the Labour Party. But it seems to me all a little bit too good to be true, doesn't it? That Morgan McSweeney, this very powerful man who used to be the director of this CDC company, whatever it's called, that seems to have this agenda to censor and shut people down,
Yeah.
is now the chief reporting person to Keir Starmer. It's all very shocking stuff, Darren.
And you just have to look at the website, right? And you get the sense of why is it all black? Like it just gives an air of sort of has this been set up by Emperor Palpatine? Like it just
And the yellow.
and the yellow,
The
yeah.
yellow's like a warning. It's like shut up. It's
It,
like something you'd stick over someone's mouth.
I really, I find it really quite eerie, and for no other reason than my own experiences, which is, Chloe, during the Brexit campaign, I was told that I was an asset of the Russian regime, President Putin's regime, and that actually Brexit was brought about by dark forces in Russia that were convincing people online to actually vote for Brexit. Now, of course, it was proven to be a complete and utter load of bollocks, but it actually, I think, in this argument, that was in the name of disinformation, misinformation, to rerun a referendum, a national vote over so-called threats from outside sources. Well, aren't they looking somewhat hypocritical now? Now that they, are trying to interfere in the elections and censor the speech both here and in the United States of America?
Yeah, I mean, it is just so hypocritical. I mean, this Labour Party, from the moment they stepped into Downing Street, from day one, they have shown themselves to be hypocrites. every single day. And, you know, I just think they, and particularly Keir Starmer, are so tone deaf. I mean, Keir Starmer has this reputation amongst those on his team around him of one of his biggest weaknesses being that he thinks that he is completely immune to bad press and that it will not affect him at all. And you can definitely see that the Labour Party has not been careful at all about what they are doing. Now, this specific case here with the CCDH campaign is, we found out about this through a whistleblower, but just generally with their involvement with the election over there, you know, first of all, we had that LinkedIn post from their head of operations. You know, this wasn't just some idiot intern who doesn't know, who's 18 and doesn't know what they're doing and made a stupid post. This is their head of operations organizing a proper trip, right? That was absolutely stupid. That got taken down. Then we find out, Guido discovered this today, we've got the Labour women's group. They are running a Labour for Kamala event. They've got Labour for Kamala badges that they've been handing out. Yeah, it's so they just keep on doing this, even though you would have thought after they had the bad press before that they would stop and they'd keep quiet about the Kamala campaign, but they can't seem to stop. And then onto this organisation. Now, this organisation, they, as you can see, it all looks very dark what they're doing. It all looks very woke, and they have, for example, been campaigning against the Daily Wire being able to have any advertisements. So this organisation is in both the US and the UK, and as you say, set up by Morgan Sweeney, right? So this is meant to be a charity, and they're definitely not independent from government at all, because it was set up by Morgan Sweeney, who is now Keir Starmer's left-hand man. Now, we're told that when the chief of staff becomes the story, the chief of staff has to go, right? And that was why we got rid of Sue Gray. Could we be seeing this guy, Morgan Sweeney, being kicked out as well if this becomes a huge story? Who knows? Time will tell.
No chance, Chloe. No chance.
I mean, just final words to each of you. I've no idea what Eunice was doing there. He was sort of picking at himself by the looks of things. I hope you're not doing anything untoward. It's not that kind of stream, Eunice. This is not OnlyFans. You are not Mia Khalifa or whatever her name is. The question here is, I've long suspected that Elon Musk's X would be the first tech supergiant to actually be pursued by Brussels, by Kamala, Democrat America, and by the Labour Party here in Britain. It's all coming into fruition. You know, what we've been saying for months and months and months and months and months, what I've been saying about the online bloody safety bill in this country every 2 seconds hasn't changed. And it's been used as a tool to actually clamp down on these platforms because Elon allows free speech that they don't like on these platforms. Eunice?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, Elon Musk has now endorsed Donald Trump, and that has, you know, and he's attacked Keir Starmer for two-tier policing and, you know, two-tier justice system. And for obvious reasons, Keir Starmer hates Elon Musk. And, you know, the people that try to censor you are never the good guys. So if Keir Starmer is trying to censor Twitter, take down Twitter, stop Daily Wire from advertising, it just shows you that he's a tyrant. Because at the end of the day, if your arguments are strong enough, then why are you trying to censor other people? Just let other people speak. And if your arguments are strong enough, the people will vote for you. But they know that Donald Trump is on his way to win. He's winning 7 out of the 7 swing states. And recently, I looked at the polls, like the bet makers have put him on 60% chance of winning against Kamala Harris 40%. So he's now the red hot favorite. And now obviously Keir Starmer is panicking because he knows that if Donald Trump comes and, you know, if Elon Musk is on his cabinet, then he's going to have a very hard time for the next 4 or 5 years.
Oh, I mean, that'll just be based. Alex?
Yeah, look, I think this is not a surprise. As you said, Darren, some of us have been saying this for a really long time. We know they are after freedom of speech. They have managed to control every other social platform, Facebook, and all of its subsidiary companies, like Instagram, also completely locked down. Twitter, I just posted today that one of my comments got flagged because I wrote the word pathetic. It's on my Twitter account. Go look.
On TikTok.
I just... Yeah, a TikTok post I put up, it said the word pathetic. I can't remember what the video, what I was posting about, but that got flagged, right? Incredible. I've actually flagged Nazi propaganda on TikTok before, and they've gone, your report was not verified. So they control every other social media platform apart from X, and they don't like Elon Musk because he goes against the standard bearing of their censorship flag. So I don't trust the American establishment at the moment. I have very little trust. If Trump doesn't win, I think we are in big trouble.
Yeah.
I agree.
Chloe?
Yeah, I mean, just echoing Alex's words, I think this is very
Trump must win.
scary for free speech. Yeah, you know, this campaign group, this is not run by, you know, some nobodies. As we've said, Morgan McSweeney, who is now right next to Keir Starmer, if he says we need to close down Twitter in this country, there's a good chance that he'll be able to push Keir Starmer into doing
Yeah,
so. I mean,
they'll
we were all
supermajority.
terrified enough after the riots, what happened with the free speech there, and you know, very sadly, we've had Peter Lynch now die in prison, which has sort of brought that back up.
Terrible.
And you know, now we've really seen, if you didn't see Labour's true colours, then you've now seen it. They
Yeah.
really do not like free speech. And if we've got both the US and the UK potentially taking down Twitter with this collusion with Kamala Harris, I mean, where the hell are we going to go? Because I've always thought I'll escape to America if Britain loses its free speech.
Yeah, well, indeed. I mean, but things are that if you are betting people out there, then the betting market seems to think that there is going to be a Trump victory, and you know, I live in hope that there will.
I just can't see how she wins. I can't.
Have you
I
heard
cannot see how she wins. It'd be insane.
Of course it would be. Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.